riding down Highway 61. Sides of the roads all lined with fields, nothing but sunset in the windshield. Feel it as soon as I ride into town. This is where I go to slow down. Miles and miles of soybeans and corn. I'm in the place where the blues was born. About a mile from the big muddy river, place I'll always remember. Cabin on the lake and a fishing pole. Forever here I'll rest my soul. I can feel my worries drift away from being out in the sun all day. No matter where in the world I go, I'll always find home on the banks of that oxbow.
What's up, guys? Justin Barry here, Crappie Expo 2020, Branson, Missouri. We're back here. Got my partner
Brad Chappell here.
and we have Ronnie Caps. Ronnie, appreciate you coming back on board. This is your second time on the show. Last time we was, a year or two ago at Grizzly Jig?
Yep, that's when it was.
With you and Steve.
Yep.
And back then, I really want to pick your brain at because, man, how long have you been in the game now?
Man, the better part of 35 years I've been chasing these fish.
So 35 years, and last time we talked to him, we was asking, which everybody's crazy about the live scope, and we was asking him, have you talked about it yet? Have you discussed putting on a boat yet? And I think he was at a standstill.
He didn't have it yet.
He didn't have it yet.
Yeah, that's right.
So, man, what's the first thing you got to say about that?
I wish you'd have caught me about, a couple months into it and let me tell you my story, and then maybe a couple months after that I'd had another one. And I've had 25 stories until I get to this point. So,
Right.
It's too much. I could have written a book about the mental part of things that have gone through my head from start to now. And so we're definitely living in a different world. The world is completely changed from what we knew as the techniques and stuff that were dominating the circuits for catching crappie, even professionally. So the technology now is taken over, and it's not a push and play type technology. I mean, it takes some work and some experience with it, and you just really have to have it mounted to fit your way, fit your technique for fishing, and you have to learn how to use it. And that is nothing short of countless hours, in my opinion.
I totally agree.
Yeah. When I first started with it, I'm like, man, I can use this in combination. And I did, and was pretty daggone effective with it. But really, the old techniques were dragging me down where I just wasn't covering enough water to end up with the right size fish. I was catching a lot of fish, and there's still a time for a combination use of the technology. Speaking of Garmin's and the live scope, so I've actually done some testing of that theory.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, well, it was 2 hours. And 2 hours in a mud bottom basin that was full of big head carp, full of shad, full of gar, full of every species of fish in the river system, but also full of crappie, a bunch of crappie, all size crappie, and down to about 20 foot of water, and they were suspended all over. They were on the bottom. They were everywhere. It was good water conditions, qualities. Just fun place to catch a lot of fish. So 2 hours with the scope and 2 hours with minnow rigs, the way I used to do it, lightweight.
Mm-hmm. Notice what he said, the way I used to do it.
Yeah, the way I used to do it. Well, the numbers, Steve and I were in competition, kind of thing. It was I out caught him by 3-1, numbers and size with minnow rigs. In a mud flat, crappie were everywhere. I out-caught him, numbers and size.
So you actually had a 1v1, 1 versus 1 in your boat, figuring it out.
I actually had a guy that I just met down in Louisiana to go with me on all this. We had an ordeal going. So, man, I promise you, let's put these poles out. Let's try it. Let's try it the old way. And we did, and it was no comparison.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually about a 30. It was a 3-to-1. Is what I mean. I was catching 3-to-1 numbers for sure, but I also, the sheer numbers that I caught allowed me to have the size was random. You'd find a big one here, and you had to go through a lot of little ones. We went through a lot of minnows. Now I was live baiting, but I'm telling you, there is a time and a place still for trolling to catch volume fish.
Right.
If you're looking for quality only, and you know what you're doing, and you can cover some ground through multiple species and a lot of clutter, that's where I'm wanting to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I'm headed. So I feel at this point that I'm finally at a level where I can be competitive.
What is your style now? I know there's a lot of different styles with live scope, and a lot of these guys are so dangerous in their style. So what is the Ronnie Cap style?
I've done it all. I've done it all. I have some originals for sure, and nobody's really even documented them. Maybe it'll be the first right here.
Mm-hmm.
But I've done everything from cast. I love to cast to them too. That was secondary. I was really just pitching a 16-foot BGJP like I've always used trolling.
Yep.
Started out with 14s. I couldn't get the distance vertical that I wanted sometimes out of the 14. I like the 16. That's what I've kind of been stuck on. I'm fast with the 16 at pitching, and I'll go to it in high wind, and if I'm trying to cover some ground fast, I'm pretty deadly with a 16 BGJP. I know some things that I would change about it. The stiffness of the rod I like the lightness in some ways, but I also need some stiffness in others.
Right.
The weight. There's a few things. There's going to be a whole different line of tackle I know coming.
Yeah.
So and I've tried to stick with B&M. I like it in some instances. In some instances, I hate it. There's pros and cons for all the stuff that's out there that we've used before. We're just trying to make this thing work with what's there right now, but I promise you there's new stuff got to be done. So I do cast with that Ultimate, and man, I'm pretty daggone accurate to 25. I want to work on 35 right now, and I have to say that accuracy in this whole thing, after you have it figured out, is the number one thing. So I never leave the screen with my eyes. If I can't put the bait on the fish while my eyes are on the screen, I ain't happy. And so that has been my biggest hurdle to get over, is the accuracy of bait placement on the fish immediately when I see him and I recognize it to be a fish I want to catch. So that's what some of the guys that have a years experience on me have capitalized, but I'm shooting at them hard.
How many hours do you think right now you've got just live scoping?
I fished 3 weeks exactly, every day at my home lake at Reelfoot. 3 days. 3 weeks I fished. I fished every day for 3 weeks. And I fished at the beginning of that. This is a little bit for you. At the beginning of that week, I fished the same area.
It was at north end or south end?
I fished right out behind my house on the Lower Blue Basin.
Yeah.
Right behind my house every morning. I run out my boat trail, cut my motor off, start fishing. 7-8 foot of water down to about 11 foot of water out the same area. Stumps everywhere, fish everywhere. I'm trying to pick out nice fish. I'm trying to catch open water, roaming, moving fish, whatever. Most of the ones that are in the open water section, Reelfoot, are not the size I want to catch, but I still try to catch them. It don't matter. I'll pitch at a carp. I'll pitch at anything for practice. It don't matter if it's a stump or anything. For practice, I'm trying to put the bait on everything I see. I'm like, can I hit it?
Right.
So I'm doing this constantly, but when I do see a nice fish, I try to get him. And at the beginning of that 3 week stretch right there, I was getting my limit of nice keeping fish, and I released a lot of big fish. And I kept some nice keeping fish every day, and then 30 was my goal. So I'm getting my limit at around 12:30 or 1 o'clock every day at the beginning of that 3 week period. After 3 weeks, I was getting my limit at about 10:30, and I'm fishing the same fish, same area, and it was not because the fish were biting different. It was because I was more accurate after 3 weeks of hard, serious practice.
Yeah,
that's it. So you got to make yourself do that.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing you can do is practice with what you have how you have it mounted. I don't care if it's on your trolling motor or on another stick or a unique item, whatever how you have your transducer mounted. It has to be in combination with your eyes and your hands, and your whole system has to work for you. Period. And when you make all those things come together, it's fish in the boat, and that's just as simple as that.
Yeah. I know I've seen some pictures of the front side of your new Bass Cat. It looks kind of like a spaceship.
Yeah, it was.
It's advanced.
It was at the onset. I was just trying to find something that was comfortable for me to readjust that transducer, other than the trolling motor. I want mine separate. I'm a stickler for handling the boat with my trolling motor, and it was not going to keep my eye focus in a place where I wanted it if it was on my trolling motor. I know I've been getting my brains beat out by these guys with them on their trolling motor, and so you would think I would probably want to copy them, but not. I'm pretty much original and hard-headed in that regard, and I am so comfortable with what I got working for me right now.
That's scary.
It's not the adjustment is a micro adjustment that you need to see. You should never let your bait down on a fish if you cannot see your bait. That's going to be my take on that. If you can't see your bait and see the fish come, you might not be able to see the fish every second. Make sure you see your bait. So he may show up if you're close to him, or he may not. But most of the time, the ultimate thing is to put it on the bait, and you're looking at the bait and the fish at the same time. That's the key. But, we were fishing right here at Table Rock here in some heavy drift cover up river, treetops on top of treetops on top of treetops, and you're trying to get a bait down to fish that's really down, and it's very hard to even pick him out unless the boat's stable. You're almost having dead still and find a fish in the log pile. And then get a bait down through the logs to the fish. It was unbelievable of puzzle for me. But there's only a little window that you can see your bait. You may see a sinker that I was running an 1/8 just to get in the current and get it down. And you may see a window, you may see your sinker, you may see your bait only, you may see your sinker only. But the bottom line is, I don't care if you see the bait is the key. Make sure just keep the bait where you can see it. Yeah. That way you know what's happening and know when you get a bite.
What about something I know you've got just a wealth of knowledge on crappie behavior. What have you learned from live scope that you didn't know before?
What I didn't know, I know what I did know, and I'm so happy to be able to see it now. Which is the first thing that comes to mind is when I'm live bait fishing. I usually use a split shot, and number 7 split shot's my favorite for down to about 12 foot of water. I got a number 7 and a number 4 Gamakatsu drop shot hook, and I'll put it on a fish at real foot. And when I'm live bait fishing, that minnow is about to throw a fit to get off the hook, and he's running from the fish. The fish is really not interested in biting him, even though he's running. And he's actually, I can feel the minnow moving. I can feel the minnow moving the pole, and that was what we was visually seeing on BGJP, sitting in a pole holder back in the day. And when the minnow would get nervous, it would tell us that, hey, there's a fish there. There's a fish. There's a fish there. And most of the time they'll chase it when he's really trying to run hard. But I've definitely caught fish that wouldn't even consider chasing it here, and that's amazing. But the presentation is so important now, and we're doing so much particular presentation, and I'm experimenting with all kinds of stuff that I'm really learning a lot about the way fish react, and I think everybody is, and it's not just. Every lake you go to is different. That's what's so crazy. I mean, I compare Reelfoot to Ross Barnett, and it's 100% different, dude. I couldn't get a fish to sit still almost as Ross Barnett. At Reelfoot, they won't leave for nothing. Here, the fish wouldn't move for nothing. I mean, I was determined to move some of them, and I just took my rod and stuck it down on the treetop, made them get out and move. But it is so fun to do this.
Yeah.
It's addicting. It is
Yeah.
very it's very addicting. You will want to go fishing every day, dude. I mean, I'm honestly getting up and thinking, man, if I got 4 hours,
Yeah.
I'm going to go try a fish somewhere.
Right.
And, you know, every hour I get, I feel like it's helpful. In the competition line of things, I mean, being in a hurry and getting fish in the boats, what the name of the game is.
Are you running perspective view any?
I have. I'm not sold on the perspective view yet.
Why?
It's on my boat right now. I flip it back and forth from time to time to look at some stuff in shallow water. But the first time I turned it on, I was about 12 or 15 foot of water. I'm like, no. This is not going to work for me. I'm really into precision, finding and I'm sure with time I might give you a different answer. But at this point, I wouldn't tell you that perspective would be a favorite of mine. I can't do it without my 360 still. I still want to see what's coming at me, and I want to go to structure and look for things that you can't even see on the 360. The Garmin's picking up for us, and that's where a lot of the fish are coming from. Tiny structure. You know, it's not bigger than your finger almost, and it'll have a big giant fish sitting on it out there that you would have never seen on the 360 even. So it's just been a learning procedure, and but I'm so happy that everybody that's got the ability to turn on a Garmin can really get out there and compete with us.
Yeah.
They really can. It's opened up the doors for a lot of people that felt like they couldn't juggle some trolling poles.
Right.
And, you know, it was a lot of physical work involved right there and effort. And actually,
It's a different set of skills.
it's completely different. I'm glad I got my old ones. If something happens to my unit or something, I can resort back to catching a few maybe, but I wouldn't take anything for my experience on the water. And it's really, when I get all my stars lined up, I'm going to shoot at these boys pretty hard.
I'm sure you will.
Last time we had you on, I think you just finished fishing at the Ross Barnett, and you gave the tip you using wax worms, right?
We did in the spring. Yeah, man, that's awesome.
So have you messed with wax worm? Have you messed with
No.
a bunch of baits and scents since you?
I cannot put a finger on something I like scent wise. Honestly, I shot this tournament right here with absolutely zero scent. I used some custom ties, all lightweight, 24, 64. I did do some 16th up there in that current. We even put an 8th on it. Got so bad there one day, like we was in a hurry. But and they bit an 8 too. It's not they won't bite it. I just think I got a better chance presenting a small bait to a fish that wouldn't otherwise bite. This is a statement I think it's pretty well. You'd probably agree with me on if you've done much of it. You'll find a variety of aggression in fish any given time, any given lake, wherever you go. Some of them are never going to bite. Some of them might touch it. Some of them are going to gobble it. There's a variety of attitude among fish. I can't tell you, but your chances of putting a fish in a boat, giant, that's aggressive, that's ready to eat up anything, as well as one that's not aggressive at all and reluctant to bite, your chances of putting a fish in a boat are better with small baits. And so
We're hearing that a lot.
that's why you're seeing everybody go to migrate to tiny stuff. Man, I've done some experimenting with, I know you've eat crappie and dress crappie and look at their stomachs like I do, and you see a lot of the little red worms that are in there. I've got some nylon. If you look at the trout section in Bass Pro, you'll see a lot of the red worms. Dude, I've already capitalized on stuff that tiny with almost weightless. It's less than 1/100, and it's like a piece of thread that's arranged with a tiny hook for trout fishing, and they will gobble the worm. Unbelievable. I've never caught a crappie on a red worm. I always wanted to, and didn't even go looking for a bait that would resemble that until the scope come out, and I couldn't get them to bite anything else. So I have to tell you, there was no scent on that. It was a visual bite, and it was something out of the ordinary. But it's just one thing that's kind of been unique for me to catch them on a little tiny hook on a little tiny worm piece of thread.
I got a question, and we come back from an earlier episode that we recorded with a gentleman. Have you ever used tadpoles?
Way back in the day, goldfish, a tadpole would get in our minnow cooler just from the minnow farm. They would accidentally be in it. We've done everything. But, man, I've never seen fish gobble up something like goldfish in the spring harder than they do at Kentucky Lake back in the day. We used to fish goldfish religiously early.
Huh.
And stuff, but definitely, I've done everything, dude. I've put everything on the hook.
I'm sure you have.
And it's been fun. This has really been
been fun for you, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it, man. I really am. I can't wait to get to the top. I don't know where the top is at this point, but I can't wait to get there. I don't know what's coming next, but I feel like I'll be able to use it, whatever the technology might be, if it's better than what we're using now. Just like
that's almost unbelievable, isn't it?
It's just like a surgeon, man. He's doing his work, looking at a screen on it sometimes, and that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
It's just basically training yourself to do that. So if you got the love to catch crappie, like we have, you'll get there. Be patient and don't get frustrated. I've met gentlemen at the bait store getting bait and nearly in tears, and end up meeting them at the boat ramp, taking them out for 1 hour or hour and a half. We catch 10 fish. We could have caught 20. And he says, I can't believe this. Mm-hmm. I can't believe what I'm seeing. And that's the reaction you get from anybody. Yeah. I get so many people want me to take them on guide trips down there, and I don't guide anymore. I take them for free for an hour or two, just because of who I am. I don't mind sharing what I know, but it's fulfilling for me to see a reaction from a guy that's almost in tears. Yeah. Into he can't wait to get home and remount his stuff. Yeah. To be like mine, and I'm definitely original on my mounting system up front. I'm also original on some of my fishing poles that I've got right now that I hadn't mentioned. You might see something come down the road if I can convince B&M to do that, but I'm fishing some extra long poles. I'm sure you probably heard of that, don't you? But I'm running 200-gram weight poles. This is not a windy day deal, right? But I'm running 200-gram poles and 27-foot length.
What?
And
you got a picture of that?
Nah, somewhere. I do. Yeah, I'll show you one.
27-foot pole.
27-footer. Yeah, it's like sewing thread. The tip. It's like micro. It's a very, it's a custom built pole. And they're made in Japan, and we don't even have them here. You can't even buy the pole here. It takes you 3 months to get it. I've got several variety, but I do have some out of graphite. You can't do graphite. It's carbon fiber that'll be coming down the road. Graphite's way too heavy, but it's a precision-made fishing pole with the longest length that you ever imagined.
27 foot.
27 foot. I tore their tail up right here at Table Rock with it. Every guy that went with us every day, where did you get the pole? I gotta have one.
Is it telescopic?
It's telescopic.
And that's like a flagpole.
Instead of winding your reel in, you're sliding it in, and sections are only about that long. So they're about 2.5 foot long. So I'm to change a bait, to do whatever, you just pop them in. That's how I land fish. You just pop him in. Just pop him right in. I'm landing them on like a 10-foot rod, 9-foot rod, whatever depth I'm fishing. Yeah.
My mouth's just open. I'm like 27-foot rod. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's what you would do at the first thought of it. But I hold it with two. I can hold it with 2 fingers. Yeah.
Did you thought of the 27? I mean,
originally. You know what? We both use them. We both bought them. We both had them imported. We got all kind of stuff we're trying out. But I have to say, what caused that to happen was the interference that we were getting with the Garmin. Mm-hmm. And when fish get closer, they get harder to see. And, everybody was dealing with all kinds of problems up close. They could see great out there at 25 foot. I'm like, I'll fix this problem. I'll just catch them out there. How about that? So that's where it really started. And honestly, I'm much quieter at 25. I don't run fish off at 25. I get in the 15 range and 12 where I can pitch them with a short pole. I'm running them off. There's all kinds of stuff that's happening. If I overshoot a fish with this pole, I can either catch him at 25 or I can catch him at 2 foot right in front of under the trolling motor with this pole. It don't matter. I can set it wherever the fish is. Bam, bam. I know exactly. That's another thing that's taking some time. But if I want to catch him at 15, I know exactly where to put the hook. It's I got it.
Is that a stationary line at the end of it?
Well, Steve fishes short pole. 16 is what he's fishing. He's fishing 16.
Short 16.
Yeah, he's fishing 16, but he can fish, from basically about 7 to 12, 15 stretching it on a 16-foot pole. 7 to 12 is where he's at. I'm at 15 to 25. So we're combining the distance. As long as we're fishing vertical, I'm not in his way, he's not in my way. First fish up front. That's
right.
Me and my wife won a Kentucky Lake tournament. I done just that. She was fishing a 14-foot BGJP, dropping fish right on the boat, and I was tearing them up 7 foot in front of her before we ever got to them.
So you don't catch them, Steve catches.
We've tried to get in a place where there's multiple fish if we can. These big tree tops, they were just a lot of fish. We left some monster fish up there that would not bite the hook. It's just frustrating, but it's fun. That's fun to try to trick them. I've done everything, but they're some smart cookies. So yeah, I say 27 foot, and yeah, there's no reel on it. It's you tie your line to the depth you're fishing, and up here I was fishing about 18 foot, and I had about 17 foot of line on that pole. Which at 20, actually I've altered this pole. It was 27, and I've pulled it back about it's about 24 and a half. I use a BGJP 14 tip with no eyes and stripped down, and I used the tip because it was stiffer. I needed a little more weight. The original tip to this pole, a 16th ounce, will make it bend. I mean, it's an ultralight tip, but I love it in places. Some places I don't. At Reelfoot, they never know they're hooked. They never feel resistance when they bite, which was always a factor when we was trolling.
Right.
The lighter the pole, the more bites you could get, and that's why they worked. And this pole is no different. I love it. I absolutely love it. I can hold a 27-foot pole with those 3 fingers right there. So that's how. Is
that same pole you seen on the internet where it's got that guy? He's got that propane tank, and he's sitting there just whacking it, and he hears that propane tank, and he swings it around.
I don't think so. I hadn't seen that one. Man, these poles are like $500.
Oh wow.
They're pretty high. Right now, I didn't want to. I bought some junk to experiment with to begin with. $60, $70, $100. You can get that comparable length and stuff and telescopic. But if you want some quality, it's carbon fiber, and it's high quality carbon fiber, and it's precision made. Man, I'm amazed that we hadn't even known about them. I love it. I tell you what, B&M makes the Little Jewel. Those poles are comparable to what I have, except they're much larger and they're much lighter. That's if you want to.
You got one in your truck? I want to go look at it.
It's in my boat. I don't have my boat here. Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah, I got a picture. I got a picture on my phone. I'm sure. But it's about yay long. I call it my smoke pole. The guy was wondering what I was getting out when I got that out of the box.
Oh, I bet.
But you wind the line up on the end of the pole. You just basically pop it all the way down, so you got a pole this long, and your line's wherever down under the one. And I just start winding up the line on the end of the pole. And when I get to the next spot, and I stick the hook in the rubber on the end of the pole, I get to the next spot, I basically drop my bait and hold the pole, and it unwinds, just spooling off of a reel, and pop it right out there. I'm ready. I'm ready twice as fast as I was with a BGJP. How about that?
Huh.
I'm ready. I'm talking about. I've handed some people the pole and like, what I do with this, and
Right.
but once you learn how to use it, I can't tell. It's coming. Trust me. I'm fixing to get these boys. I'm fixing to get these boys with smoke pole.
That's what I want to hear.
The smoke pole's coming out, fellas.
Watch out for the smoke pole, man. Anyway.
Oh, you gotta use that hashtag next time. You post a fish.
Yeah,
all of this.
all my comments for Ronnie's post from now is gonna be smoke pole.
If you could see me use it, you would I think you'd be impressed after I've used it for a year now. I think you'd be impressed, but I'm definitely original in my way.
Oh yeah,
and I can present
that way.
I can put a bait on a fish at 20 foot vertical and hold it perfectly on his nose as long as you want me to, or whatever. And, you know, I'm in a fish with that thing. So if you are, you got to bait your hook. And I'm baited quicker than I was with a 16, dude. I mean, I'm just like, it's perfect. I land fish quicker, I think. The reel, I don't have to deal with the reel.
Mm-hmm.
It's just crazy. It's a crazy deal. But I know every click of my pole, I know exactly what length it is. And I just put it on the fish, dude. You'd have to see it in action.
You see it out there at 21 or 18.
We will have to see it.
I got like.
You got a mark?
2.5 foot. No, every click's 2.5 foot. Pow, 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 pow. It just pops in. Yeah, it's not.
It always seems to blow my mind every time I get a chance to talk.
It's amazing,
to him.
but hey, I've new stuff. I've enjoyed it. Figuring out how to catch them with this thing. There's one thing with the 27 footer. Don't go when it's 25 mile an hour wind. You're trying to push it into the wind. You are wonderful going downwind, but you're no good going inwind with a 27 footer. But if it's calm, you are a pro. You can be. I think so. Yeah. Wow. So it's a different presentation at a different distance. I mean, I'll say that. We'll see how it goes.
So a fish is sitting, which is roughly, I say, 25 feet from us over there. He's in trouble.
27 is the curtain.
Good Lord.
Yeah, 27 is the curtain. Right at it, between the curtain and the line.
What's the biggest one you caught so far doing that?
Oh, I caught 1,093 fish with that pole in the spring.
Are you serious? You really got that number?
Yeah, I kept up with it. 2 months.
So precise with everything.
I caught 1,093 with a pole exceeding 25 foot. I didn't. Like I said, I can catch them at the end of this table with this pole. I can.
So what's the biggest one you hooked though?
I catch 2-pounders quite a bit at Reelfoot, but I caught some monsters, man. I don't know. I don't. Just at Ross Barnett the other day, whatever we weighed, I had a terrible unlucky day. I'm sure you know about the number 8 fish I didn't know was in the box, but we had a great day the second day. I just didn't put it together for 2 days. So we caught some fish, in the 2.5 pound class down there, and I was fishing long post. Steve's fishing 16, so that's kind of our show right now.
That's crazy. I can't get over it.
Can't wait to see it
at all.
I'm sure I will.
I was using the casting rod to pitch to him in that deep water. We was fishing like 30 foot or whatever, and I'd put Steve on top of a fish with a 16 since we was fishing so deep, and because of the depth, my pole is really it's not useful. 27 foot pole and 30 foot line, no. It's great in 12 general depth that we catch fish,
right.
But this is out of the ordinary. So he was running 16 here, and I'm with the casting rod, and I'll find something and stand in timber out at distance, and I'm very good at 25, 35. I'm missing some I don't like. It's a big difference between 25 and 35 casting, or shooting or pitching or flipping, whatever you want to call it, just getting a bait on the spot. But I caught quite a few fish reeling, with basically making them follow me and just reeling, just making them follow me out, and they finally bite. In addition to Steve's, fish. So I had to say double scopes are an advantage all the way around with the team, for sure. I'll not be. Matter of fact, mine did go out right here at Table Rock while I was fishing. The backlight went out one day. I about had a fit. I called up John with a bass tank. I got one the next morning in my boat. Dude.
Yeah.
You can't beat the service from them guys. They've done that twice for me. It's not their fault. I don't know. I'm sure they'll get the backlight issue, but I've had 2 backlights go out, so don't just pass out if one goes out. I thought the whole unit went off, and I started checking connections and all kinds of fuses and stuff. And honestly, if you look, it's a faint image of everything you've always seen, just no backlight. So that happened. That's been happening. I've heard of it already from some other people. But the truth is, if you can't figure it out, give John or Zeke a call. They'll get you going in a second. And they had a unit in my boat the next morning, man, brand new one. So that's worth gold to me.
Yeah.
And especially in a tournament like this, I would have not. I'd had to take a nerve pill to go with one unit, since we're right. Basically.
You're running your own unit.
It's all original. I'm sure a lot of the people are just running one, but there's definitely a place for 2. aside from what little there is interference between the
How are y'all both moving it?
We're independent. Everything's independent. He's got his own adjustment. I got my own adjustment. And the advantage of the two being mounted separately at different angles is in a treetop or stake bed or whatever you might be looking at behind a stump. Steve's got a great view of the fish. I can't see him at all. Millimeters sometimes is the difference in seeing what you need to see and seeing what you don't see at all. So having two different transducers at two different angles is absolute advantage.
27-foot pole. Jesus.
I'm probably going to get a 9 meter and try it because of the counterbalance of the pole. These are 8 meter poles. Figured it out, 3.3 feet per meter, whatever. Okay, they're 8. I've got 7.2 meters. I've got 8 meters. I'm about to try 9 meter and not use the last 2 sections of it for counterbalance, just to balance it a little. If I had I don't know what that is, 9 meters times 30, whatever. But I want to keep the 2 sections under my arm to counterbalance the other part.
Right.
So, and I might in effect use it rarely or sometimes. 30 foot's getting out there now. But actually the weight of what little weight there would be, it's like over 300 grams for a 9 millimeter.
Wow.
It's not that heavy. It's amazingly light. You would not believe it.
Carbon fiber for you.
Yep.
Man. Is there anything else you want to add before we try to kind of
Man,
I've
told you my whole scenario here, what's going on. I don't have anything to hide. I want everybody to know what I'm doing.
I like what he said. I'm coming.
I feel confident, man. I know, I got friends all over this sport that are saying the same thing. John Harrison down there at Grenada, he's like, "You got that scalp ready, ain't you?" I'm like, "Yeah, buddy. He's getting very good." A lot of my buddies are giving me the same story I got. There's going to be a bunch of fire in the works out there, man. I think some of the weights will be so close. You'll see some huge weights come in. Golly, no telling what'll happen in the spring.
Yep.
I can't wait to see what happens, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's true. Got Wally just walking on in here.
I tell you what, Wally, you put on one class act show, dude.
Thank you, brother.
I don't know who won the boat. I've been here for a while. But I cannot wait to go fishing next year.
Hey, brother, let me tell you what. The guy that won the Ranger boat, he is like part-time help at Bass Pro Shops. And his wife works where I had to get the permit, the first lady that I talked to get the permit to have this tournament on this lake. His wife was, and I'm like, really?
That's good stuff,
and
man.
It's just karma. Like Randy Land,
yes, sir.
My friend for 30 years, won the Vexus, and all of a sudden, hey, man, I didn't need to bust your show. But
you didn't bust my show, man. You made my show, okay?
Thank you so much.
You don't know.
It's the only way we can get there, brother.
You have a 4-lane headed for an 8-lane.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I'm serious.
We're not going to let up.
I seen so many new faces, Wally.
Yeah.
I says, where's these kids coming from?
Them little squirrels from East Texas.
They beat my brains out.
Hey, I thought they was fixed to tear this thing up, but he told me going in the second day, he goes, they're not going to be there because I think he said there was 4 miles of logs from where he was fishing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
He couldn't get to him.
Yes, sir.
Milligan.
Everybody
I
did
think
that.
His name was Milligan.
Everybody did that.
Hat on.
Everybody did that.
But hey,
part of the game.
Thank you, Crappie Connection, for being here at the Crappie Expo 2020 in Branson. And hey, next year we're gonna go eat some gator.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it, Wally. Shoot, Brad, is there anything else before we close out?
No, man. Let's rock.
All right, man. Hey, you heard it first from Ronnie Cass, 27-foot pole. He's coming for you. We appreciate Ronnie coming on. Appreciate Wally just come on in here talking like he always does. Always an honor talking to him.
Yep.
Other than that, I'm Justin Berry here.
Brad Chappell.
Ronnie, appreciate it again.
Man, can't thank you enough for having me. I hope somebody catches a few more fish because of what I told them.
Yep.
All right, we'll see y'all.
Yeah, man.
Holla.
About a mile from Big Muddy River, a place I'll always remember. cabin on the lake and a fishing pole. Forever here I'll rest my soul. I can feel my words